Last week, the New York Post released an article titled, Inside Mary Adams' Migrant Debit Card Bundangle. No bid bank gets $50 million, border crossers up to $10,000 each. Basically, migrants are being handed out $10,000 in cash, and people are going crazy. So let's get the facts straight. Yes, New York City is rolling out a pilot program of prepaid debit cards to 500 migrants. The rules are as follows. Each migrant will get $12.52 per day for 28 days a month. So in a single month, a migrant could get up to $350. In a year, that amounts to $4,200. If you have kids, that's an extra $100 a month per child under the age of 5 and $36 per child under 17. Doing the math, a family of 4, a dad, mom, and 2 kids would receive well over $10,000 a year from this program. So when the news leaked, a lot of people were outraged. Rapper 50 Cent went, WTF Mary Adams, call my phone, I don't understand how this works. Somebody explain, maybe Trump is the answer. The New York Post article itself has over 2,000 comments, most extremely negative. This is what happens when one party is control, there is no oversight. If this city has this much money to waste, it shows how we don't need to pay as much as we do in taxes. Hard to figure the endgame here. Give it free money? That'll stop them from coming. If I show up and say I'm illegal, do I get free money too? Now there are limits to this money. These prepaid debit cards can only be used at grocery stores and bodegas, but from what I've read, it's mostly an honor policy. Migrants will have to sign an affidavit before receiving these funds saying that they will not abuse it or else it will be taken away. But it's unclear how the government's going to keep tabs. Now a lot of the controversy here is, why is the New York City government handing out free money? Well, the ironic thing is, it's actually to save money, according to Mayor Eric Adams. I told the team we must bring down the cost of migrant and asylum seekers, the cost by 20%. And this is one of those initiatives with a 500-person pilot project. And we are clear, if it's abused in any way, it's supposed to go to only food and baby supplies. If it's abused, we will take those cards away. You might be asking yourself now, well, how is giving away free money saving money? Because this new debit prepaid program is going to replace the current meal program. DocGo is the vendor supplying breakfast, lunch, and dinner to the migrants staying at Roosevelt Hotel and other camps in the city. Their government contract states that they can charge up to $11 per meal, up to 3 meals a day. The entire contract costs $432 million of taxpayer dollars, but reports show that over 70,000 meals have been thrown away. On November 6th, records show that over 5,000 meals were thrown away on a single day. While reasons range from migrants simply not being home when the food is being served, to the food just simply being bad quality and people not wanting to eat it. A lot of people seem to be cooking their meals instead, and some of the migrants have said that the food has made them sick or has mold in it. So there's a lot of wasted money here. In fact, over $800,000 worth of food has been thrown out. So the new prepaid debit program is a cost-saving measure that will allow migrants to use the cash to buy their own groceries and cook whatever they want. Now, it's unclear how they're actually going to cook properly because, as far as I know, most hotel rooms and shelters don't have full-service kitchens. Also, $13 a day in New York City can't buy much. I saw a local grocery store in Queens, not even Manhattan, sell a jug of milk for $7. There's also some scrutiny over the bank that's issuing these cards. Mobility Capital, a minority-owned bank, is making quite a bit from this deal. They are charging a 3% fee for the first $50 million distributed, 2.5% fee for $50 million to $150 million, and a 2% fee over $150 million. Now these fees are actually pretty standard in terms of transaction costs across the industry, but it just goes to highlight how expensive social programs can be. And a lot of New Yorkers and people in general are unhappy that migrants are getting so many benefits. Social Security gives citizens a maximum of $943 for an individual and $1,415 for a couple, but that's before any deductions, including unemployment, pensions, and disability benefits. So in the end, it's not too far off from what the migrants are getting in terms of cash. And people are angry because it just sounds unfair. Perception-wise, these migrants look like illegal immigrants, even though that's technically untrue since seeking asylum is legal in the US, and New York City is doling out billions of dollars to support them when it could be supporting its own people first. People are complaining, why not improve the funding for the homeless? Why not improve funding for the library? Why not improve funding for the public schools? Why not fix the subway? And I think it's natural to feel these emotions. It's human nature. Help yourself before you can help others. As prosperous as New York City is, there are still a lot of issues. And when the mayor is slashing budgets to things like parks, libraries, and schools to fund programs to help undocumented people, it's only natural for people to feel uneasy about it. So why is New York City doing this? How far does compassion stretch before it's unsustainable? New York City is a sanctuary city that protects undocumented people from being deported and has a right to shelter law. Engraved at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty reads, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." New York City has always been an immigrant city, though 200 years ago was probably much easier. You could probably just show up and that was kind of it. And immigrants benefit the economy irrespective of their status, at least according to the government. On the New York City Gov website, they state, welcoming asylum seekers is a net positive to the economy. Conservative estimates have found that a 10% reduction in asylum seekers in 1 year would be an $8.9 billion loss to the US economy and over $1.5 billion in lost tax revenue over 5 years. Empathetically, even with all these benefits, life is hard for these migrants, and I think people forget that where you're born is really just luck of the draw. These people have had to travel on foot thousands of miles, escaping unstable countries to find a better life in the US, which is the reason why most people move to the US in the first place. I mean, look at your ancestors. While there are certainly legal ways to enter the country, the USA is pretty anti-immigrant these days with its policies. In fact, it's almost impossible to immigrate to the US unless you're highly educated or you're marrying a US citizen. I guess you have to ask yourself, what would you do if you were in the migrant's shoes? Would you risk the trek halfway across the world for a chance of a better life? And what kind of treatment would you want from your host country? And on the flip side, what kind of humanitarian response does the US government have? Where is the line drawn on compassion? I'm not sure, so let me know what you think in the comments.